Hey guys, Dr. Sean here again this morning. We're going to talk about sweeteners and sugars, artificial sweeteners. I was asked this question on Facebook a little while back, and they're like, Doc, what do you think about all these things? It's a little tricky because a lot of the sweeteners that we use today are chemically made. They're made in a lab, and anytime you make something in a lab, you're not really dealing with nutrition. All right, it's no longer food. If it doesn't grow on its own, if you can't pick it, grow it, catch it, it's not really real food. So now you're getting into chemicals. And the problem when you get into chemicals, you start running the problems that you see with medications, is that there's interactions with body physiology. Now, the two main ones you see today, sucralose, which is sucrose, a sugar that they have chlorinated. They added a bunch of chlorine to it, they knocked some hydrogen molecules off of it, and they produced a product called Splenda. Now, the problem with that is that chlorine itself is not really fit for human consumption. We chlorinate water to keep it clean, and we do little things like that, but as a rule of thumb, it's very, very, very difficult for the body to deal with. It displaces iodine. That's one of the big things that chlorine does. It works the same way as fluoride. It knocks iodine out of the way, and so now you get hormonal imbalances and dysfunction. With the Splenda as a product, we've seen all kinds of things starting to show up health-wise from it. Everything from digestive disorders to blood sugar swings, things of that nature. So it in itself is not a real great product to be using. And you got to understand, the artificial sweeteners, when they were created, they were made to help people who were diabetic. The problem is that now that we've done some research, see, all of these sweeteners come to market with very, very little research done to validate them. They just dump them into the population and see what happens. They did the exact same thing with tobacco, right? There wasn't really a whole lot of research other than by the company, and here we are years later, and what do we know about tobacco? Look at all the trouble we get when we burn that, or we chew it, or we do things of that nature. They let the population learn, hey, this is what goes wrong. Don't do it in a study. Well, the same thing holds true with these sweeteners. So when you're looking at them, you're saying, okay, well, they're supposed to help with my diabetes. They're supposed to help me not fix diabetes, just allow me to have something sweet. The problem that we run into is that when we do this, when you put something sweet in there that's 0 calorie, and that's the big knock, right? It's 0 calorie. I can eat all I want. That's not the case. Because when it gets into the body, it breaks down differently. We have different yeasts, bacteria, fungus inside us. They can eat this stuff, they can metabolize it, they can break it down, and they start producing a stool and a waste product that your body's now being challenged with. And what we've learned is that people who consume diet drinks, for example, on average gain about 10 pounds more per year than people who do the regular drinks, soft drinks, things of that nature. So you look at that and think, well, how's that possible? Because it fools the body. It says, oh, here comes something sweet. And it gets in there and your brain's like, oh, that's going to be fuel, this is going to be good. But we can't digest it. We lack the enzymes to break it down. So what ends up happening is that it fools the body. Now the body sees it as a pollutant and has to get rid of it through your liver. So it makes the liver work a little harder. But when you make the liver work harder, what happens? The body says, get more fuel in here so I can work harder. So you eat more. And it wants more sweetness. It says that wasn't enough. There wasn't enough calories. Go get me more. So it makes you crave. And that's why you see a lot of the diet foods, the diet colas, the diet things with the artificial sweeteners, the diabetics end up gaining weight, which is the exact opposite of what they want to do. Now we come to the next one, and there's several of these, but these are the two biggies. The next one is aspartame. Aspartame it's amazing how they were able to get it through. And I'm impressed with creativity. I'm impressed with how companies can do things. But aspartame has been linked to every neurologic condition you can think of. Parkinson's, MS, seizures, epilepsy, brain tumors. The United States Air Force won't allow their pilots to consume anything with it in it because of their concern over those things. So you know that, if I've got a neurologic condition, if I've got anything wrong with me, and I'm drinking 3 and 4 diet colas or diet this, or drinking, some kind of Crystal Light or something like that, if I'm drinking that stuff down every day, and it's got that fake sweetener in there, run. As fast as you can, run. The original study was done by a company out of Chicago, Illinois. It was J.D. Searle was the company that did it. I think they tested 7 monkeys. I think several of the monkeys, I'm positive, died during the test. And a bunch of them had seizures, massive all-out seizures. So you look at that and think, all right, if the 7 monkeys you test, none of them did well. And they were dosing them with milk, as far as I know, to slow down the absorption of it. And they still had problems. It failed. They wouldn't pass it. It wasn't safe. So they hired a gentleman to come in and politicize. He told them, forget the science. We don't need to worry about that. Let's make it a political thing. And so they started working that angle. And as they did, all of a sudden, now we have NutraSweet in everything. So you're always better going back to the kind of golden rule. Mother Nature probably knows best. Try to stay with things that are fairly real, that you can pick or grow. You'll do better there. True sugar, sugar cane, it's not that bad for you in moderate amounts. Now when you process that sugar down into that white stuff we see on the table, it gets a little bit worse for you. But guys, these fake sweeteners are 300 to 500 times sweeter than table sugar. 300 to 500 times. So the next time you're grabbing that yellow, that pink, that blue packet on a coffee table somewhere, just think, wow, 300 to 500 times sweeter. How many are you putting in your coffee? How many are you adding to your tea? And start thinking of all the neurologic problems that they cause. It's just not worth it. Dr. Sean?